Hi, thank you for joining me. Today is the last day of April, 30th of April 2022. I've been in my office this Saturday doing some readings this morning and making some videos. And while I was sitting here doing something totally different, I suddenly felt like I had some information that I could access, as in things that be coming up. And I haven't really done any predictions for a while. Because most of my predictions that I've already done, I've kind of just been sitting back waiting for them to unfold. And I don't like adding on more predictions until two of the previous ones have unfolded. But a few of them have already, a few of them haven't. And while I was sitting here thinking, I just suddenly got this instinct to write some things down. So I'm just going to share them with you. Sometimes they make absolutely no sense until after the fact, when things start to unfold later on. Then you can go, ah, yes, now I understand what was being said. The first thing I got was the Daintree rainforest, which is up in Queensland, and I felt like there was going to be headlines around the Daintree rainforest, and it was kind of a feeling of, you know, when there's something that can be prevented and it's just left, like nothing's done, but then when there's something devastating that happens, then people decide that they could do something. It has that kind of feeling to it, where they could have prevented this but didn't until something happens, and then they have to try and fix it up. So yeah, the Daintree rainforest was popping up. It feels like it's going to be in the headlines soon. You know me, I don't like giving time with a lot of these things. I just see stuff and then I just leave it to whenever it's going to happen. I then heard the name Clive, and as I thought about it, I thought the only Clive that I know is Clive Palmer, the politician. So then I thought maybe it's him. I don't know any other really important Clives. So maybe it is this Clive Palmer, but there was a feeling around it that someone with the name of Clive that's well known is going to be in the news for unexpected reasons. Ukrainian war, Putin. It's very, very hard to know how to go into predictions in this area because of people's free will. Like Putin could just snap at any moment, or he could make a decision that is not really lined up with the way it's supposed to happen, but he can still make a decision. But when I look into that situation, there is a sense of Putin being pushed into a corner somehow. Even though he can change his mind, if there's this feeling of other people are going to make decisions which will then make him feel like he's pushed into a corner. Now he can snap in some way as a reaction to this, but I'm also seeing an arrest. Now, I don't know if anybody has the power to arrest Putin or arrest, I don't know if the world has some form of power to do that, or other countries can do that, or the United Nations can do that. I'm not sure how that all works, because they make up their own rules as they go. But that I'm seeing some form of arrest of someone who's in a high position. There's also a backup plan, so it's like you can't just arrest one person, you have to arrest some kind of plan where you have to arrest a lot of them. So I don't know, it's a little confusing in that area, but maybe it's going to get to a point where he is going to create more of a war, and that's where other countries have to step in, or the United Nations have to step in. I mean, in my little logical mind, if someone is doing something wrong, they can be accountable for that. But when it's like in big countries and people in power, it's obviously more complicated because they can react and then create a problem worldwide. So, it's hard to sit back and just allow somebody. If to me, it's logically, like my little logical brain is like, how can you just sit back and let someone do it? Like kill people and blow up countries and how do you, like, if I went to do that, I'd be put in jail. But obviously it's more complicated than that. But to me, it just feels like there is some form of arrests with the politicians that are doing the wrong things, or maybe it's Putin arresting people himself in his own country. I'm not sure what that is, but that's the words that I could get with that. I keep hearing the word crash. I feel this is economic crash, so more like a stock market crash. I have mentioned this before. It hasn't happened as yet. I also feel like there was a point of there was going to be a stock market crash not that long ago, and it was somehow diverted. It was somehow, I don't know, it was stopped from happening. I still feel like it's still coming. This just feels like this unavoidable crash. And that's where I also feel like the World Economic Forum have some form of plan. Now, as they did back in the 1940s, where they created the Industrial Revolution after the war and started to introduce credit so people could borrow money, and that was their way of getting the economy back. There obviously is another plan that they're trying to work on to get the economies back in all the countries because they're all suffering. But rather than people complied back in the 40s, I don't see people just complying this time. They'll be asking questions. And if it's not going to serve the purpose of each person, then obviously people are not going to want to participate in things. There's more of a backlash now. We can't just all be told what to do. We're more of a we'll stop and ask questions. Sort of we're that kind of people now. I still see us moving into some form of digital wallet system. It's not cryptocurrency, but it's very similar. It's money. It's just money being transferred through computer systems, not cash getting handed over. It's like that. And we feel to be more in charge of our money. I just wish I could see how it all unfolds, because my logical mind's trying to figure out what I'm being shown. I also didn't know that World Economic Forum were a group of people that basically chose to create this forum and take control of the choices of our money. They weren't elected in. There weren't people that were elected into that position. They just put themselves in that position. So that was really interesting, wasn't it, to know that? And obviously they have influence. So they have influence over countries and what they decide. But the way that I've been saying this for a long time, like the way that we're heading, we can't keep heading like this. There has to be solutions, and this is where I still see house prices dropping. I've spoken about this the last video, a couple of videos ago, where I said I could just see so many people that raced out to buy these high-priced houses. They're not going to be worth that. Then I feel sorry for the people that they're going to lose money on that. I could see a female who's very well known in the public eye who disappears, and there is talk on everyone's lips. She's talk on everyone's lips, but she can't be found. And for someone so popular, it's really, really strange that no one's seen her, no one's heard from her. She just disappears, and under very, very strange circumstances. I feel there is some kind of disease found in chickens. years back where there was mad cow disease and there was problems with the cattle industry. There feels to be some kind of problem in the chicken industry, and some kind of disease found in chickens. I'm not sure what country that's in, but I just kept hearing about chickens and a disease. There has been a connection with other dimensions for years and years, and with our species, that we can call them aliens, or are they just an advanced species of us that are in a different time zone that the time zones are crossing over. There feels to be more evidence coming up about this. So this is later part of this year, evidence that people need to see so that they can process this information themselves. It's not speculation, this is actual evidence. I'm here in Paris, and I feel that something starts there. The news is on Paris, and then other parts of the world start to follow suit. They are leading the way in a certain area. So it seems to stem from a college or a university in Paris. It's a place of learning. Something is discovered there, learnt there, and then it goes from there and it starts spreading worldwide. The energy at the moment feels like we need to rely on ourselves. Rather than relying on other people to supply us, other people to entertain us, other people to love us, and other people to cater to our needs, we are moving into an energy of really needing to be accountable for ourselves, fulfilling our own cups first, looking after our own mental health first, and physical health from the inside out. As people are opening their eyes to viewing life in a different lens, they are also seeing where they are accountable for their own actions and making the realization that they can change. They are not stuck to be the same person for the rest of their life. There is an ability to be a different person. And I also wrote down, also with dreams, rather than when you have a dream and you dream of yourself in a situation, or you dream of seeing other people in your dreams, I've actually experienced this recently myself, and I was told by Spirit that this will be happening a lot more with people, is in our dream state, our soul will be stepping into the life of somebody else and living their life and experiencing their life, and then you will get to know exactly what they are going through. So rather than you dreaming about, say you've got yourself and a friend and you're dreaming of an adventure you're going on, in the future dreams are you will step into being your friend. So the dream won't be about you and a friend, the dream will be about you're the friend, you are that person, you'll know that you're in their body, and then you'll get to experience life through their eyes. And this is when you come back as awake, it'll give you more compassion and more understanding, more empathy for what other people are going through. And this feels to be a way of letting go of the judgment, because we are currently stuck in judgment of other people. Anyone, you look at anyone and what they're saying and what they're doing, and you'll form a judgment about them. Either you're going to agree, disagree, or judge their appearance, or judge something about them. This dream formation that's going to be unfolding is a way of letting go of that judgment, so we can understand people from a much more deeper level of understanding and compassion. So those were just a few. There was not many. Sometimes I get quite a lot, but that was just a few things that came through today. And hopefully, there might be a few more things coming through as well. But thank you for listening to me, and let me know if, especially with the dream thing, because I've experienced that just lately. I've actually been in somebody else's body in the dream and saw their whole life. I can actually see where they're even going in the future. So pretty interesting stuff we're moving into. So thank you again for listening to me.